This is a video that's specifically made for people who work in companies as the search engine optimizer and have like years of experience. So I looked at specifically the web pages of search engine optimization companies where the experts are, and I analyzed their pages in order to see if they are doing the search engine optimization right, and they don't. And there's a paradigm, there's a thing that like really points to what is that is not understood even by experts in search engine optimization, and it's about what actually does Google rank? Like, what actually is it that Google is looking for? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about in this video. So, we get right into it. You know the most important rule for search engine optimization, right? Content is king. That's the most important information for search engine optimization, and I said this is going to be a video for experts. So we leave it there. The bigger the web page, the better. You, in one way or the other, you know that. So in order to get your web page to rank, you will have to sit on your ass and write articles, make videos, make images, produce content. That's the point. You will not rank without content. But here comes that what even experts don't understand, and that is actually it is not content that Google gives a lot of credit for. What Google actually gives the credit for is information. Like, it's the information age, and the web is the data highway, and Google had to look for a system to classify web pages, and they devised a system that is trying to rate information. And your web page will not rank for the content. Yes, it will rank for the content. The more sub pages you have, the more text you have, the better. But what you're actually going to rank for is the quality of your information. And you hear that a lot. You hear that a lot, and people come to you in these SEO videos and say, write quality content for the people and you will rank. But that is not what I'm talking about here, because we're not going to do that, because every SEO, and you as experts especially know, there's no SEO that is not at least gray hat, which means that you have to know the system, you have to know the rules of the system in order to get anywhere with your ranking. I'm not just going to tell you write quality content. We're going to understand what Google exactly, like very exactly, considers good information. And then we will create our web content to match that type of quality, which is not going to be real actual quality. It's just going to look like quality for a computer. So that was basically the starting point, because you're writing content for your web page, but you don't rank with that, and that's really the point where I constantly see experts fail, and that's why I'm talking to experts in this video. Your content does not look like information. That's the thing. If you listen to this video, at the end of the video, you should have understood what information looks like for the Google computer, what the Google computer thinks of to be informative. Because we're not looking for informative, we're looking for good for the Google computer, because it's search engine optimization. We're optimizing for the search engine, okay? Okay, and now we get into that. So, before I go into that, which is going to be the main point of this video, I would like to have a pre-chapter of a few minutes in which I talk about something that's really important and that I see like really every website of search engine optimization companies fail in this one point. And if you would like to, it's a very important point for your web design, for your search engine optimization. I would like to put that at the front of the video before we dive into what I talked about, the information thing, okay? So, oh wait, I have like a script here. Okay. The thing I want to put right at the front, it's not about the information thing, that's coming later. Everybody told you 100 times, your keywords go into the heading, like the H1 heading. That's where your keywords go. Okay, you heard that. I know you're expert. You know that, but so often I see web pages where the heading might contain the keyword, but the next heading does not, and it is about something completely else. Like the second heading, the third heading, that are about completely different things that are off topic, and you have to work along the top. Okay, let me just finish that thing, and I'm starting to talk about what is that you have to stay on topic and create that one topic string, and you will understand that when you understand the concept of information for Google, and we're going to talk about that later. So we leave that for now. I'm too far ahead already. So just for now, your main keyword goes into the heading, into the first heading. The first sentence that follows right after the heading, the first sentence, repeats your main keyword. Keyword in the heading, keyword in the first sentence. And the first 100 words are a technical description of what you do. This cannot be stressed enough. Google put out a program called Natural Language API, Google Natural Language API, and for a year, or I don't know how long actually, you could see how the Google text intelligence works, and they put it down again. It's really a shame, and they should put it back definitely. But from that I learned the first sentence sets the topic for the web page. Your first sentence sets the topic for the web page. Your headline sets the topic for the web page, and the first 100 words set the topic for the web page. If you ask me, I'm a search engine optimization. I work in search engine optimization at the moment. The web page belongs to the search engine optimization. It does not, for me, belong to the visitor. That is not where it belongs, because if your there's so much competition on the market. If you don't if you don't write for the search engine, you will not get a good position. And if you don't get a good position, It does not matter how much you actually write for the people, because nobody's going to see it. So let's not be too harsh on that. Okay, maybe you can write for the people here and there, if you're a person talking to people. But for now, let's assume that we're really strictly starting from working for producing the web page for the search engine for the search engine itself. So that was my pre-talk of the point where I see all search engine optimization experts fail. The first 100 words are not about the topic. The headline is not about the topic. And the first sentence is not about the topic. Keep that in mind. I might repeat it later. But for now, that was that first thing that I wanted to get, so to say, out of the way. Okay, now we're going to go into that what I talked about. What is information? So Google is a computer system that is trying to rate web pages and put the best web page to the first search result and the second best to the second search result. So the people who programmed Google, they knew what we're going to talk about now is how does Google work? Because in understanding that, what I'm going to tell you now, how Google works, when we understand that, we understand where your web page fails. That's the point. We understand exactly why your web page is not ranked, because it's that, like, most people that I met, even experts, like, actually don't understand how Google works. And the information that Google is trying to rate information is already something that, like, really I know most of you experts have not really gotten into understanding. So Google ranks information. And now we're going to talk about how do you rank information. And that is all my opinion, since you know nobody actually knows what Google does, because it's like a secret. But it's a very strong opinion that I had from doing search engine optimization for 10 years now. So I'm really getting into it. Okay. Let me get water. Let's take a break. I don't know, write something down. Information, Google ranks information. Okay, let me get some water and then we go on. I look at my script. Oh yeah, I know. The guys at Google knew when they programmed Google that they cannot see what the people are gonna post online. So the programmers of Google had the problem, so to say, that they have to create a computer program that has to be able to decide if if something is good information without a person reading it. That's the problem of Google. We're going to use that problem and turn it around, so that from that problem of the Google programmers and the programming of the Google, we dive right in and produce like the perfect content that is strong for the Google system. That's what we're going to do now. So that's why I'm start to tell you how Google has to be programmed. So the Google programmers did not know what the people will, for web page, the people will create. So they tried to create a program that you let loose on the internet. You let the program go into the internet and start to tell you which of these websites has good information. So what they created, and I know that from like a lot of videos about Google and from Google people and other search engine optimization experts. So what they programmed is a self-learning program. The Google computer goes into the internet and reads the information that it gets online, so to say AI style, reads the information that it finds and creates topical data on every subject that it finds. So every time Google finds an information online, it just creates a list or an area where this information belongs to. So I make an example so that we all know what we're talking about, okay? If Google finds the word horse, it connects it to the word saddle, because you put a saddle on a horse. And then it connects it to the word shed, because that's a house where you put horses in. And then it connects it to the word hay, because horses eat hay. And then it connects it to the word race, because there's horse races. So that's what the Google program does, is it creates clusters of things that happen to be on the same page. Google finds a page about horses and horse racing and puts that together, and it finds a page about horses and saddles, and so it puts horses, saddles and horse racing all together to what is called a topical cluster. The Google engineers talk about that actually all the time. When you look at the videos, they talk about that all the time, but you have to put the pieces together to understand what that means. I know all of you experts have seen it a million times, topical clusters. Of course, Google does that. But what does it mean? And it means something that will dramatically improve our attempt at creating search engine optimization. So, the computer program of Google is programmed in a way to give credit for information. I call it points. I say Google gives points. It's just a metaphor. Google gives you points, bonus points for your web page. The more bonus points you collect, the better the web page is going to be ranked. So that's the way I say it. It's not a technical idea. It's just a metaphor. Google gives you like points, bonus points for everything that's good on your page, and then it ranks you. So, when I say Google gives you points, I mean that it likes something on the web page and gives you gives you bonus, and your ranking is the higher bonus, the better. So that's what I mean when I say Google gives you points. So, Google gives you points. The more your website touches each thing that is in the topical cluster. So, when I create a website, let's stay with the topical cluster that we have. When I create a website that talks about a horse, a saddle, a shed, the house for a horse, and a race, let's say that is everything that is in that topical cluster, then Google will give that website a lot of points. That might sound easy, but it's not. And that is the way Google ranks how informative a website is. That's the trick that they found. They don't know what a topic will give, what actually there is to know about a topic. They don't know in advance. So they let the computer decide what belongs together. And from there they create an area of matching words, or matching words actually, that belong to a topical cluster. And then they said, the more a website talks about everything that is in a topical cluster, the better it is. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. That is one of the absolute basics. That's one of the absolute basic things to understand for creating content that Google likes. It's the disadvantage of the Google programmers that they cannot foresee the future. Trying to create a program that whatever information it finds, it can say if it's good or not. So they created that system of creating topical clusters. The more you talk inside of one topical cluster, the better. So from there, a website that talks about everything in the topical cluster does not bring anything new to the table. Matt Cutts, in a video of Matt Cutts, he said, Google gives extra points if you put something new to the table. That's the words he uses. So stay topical, touch on every word in the topical field, and bring something new in. Okay, then it's extra. Okay, extra points for bringing some new aspects in. Google often says they want information firsthand, from experience, from new research. Okay, so keep that in mind. Convince Google that you made experiments, maybe that you have new research. How will you judge if something is written from experience, if not by words, if not by the words I experienced, or I noticed, or from my studies I learned? So how will Google know that something is from experience if it does not look at the words that you say? That's just a side thing here, so to say, but think about it. So, but moving on with the understanding what is informative, I'm still talking about how can a computer program know if something is full of information. And we had the first point, and that is a really major point. It creates clusters of matching topics that all match one topic, and the more of that cluster you touch on, the better is your content. From the point of view of a computer system. Because Google does not actually understand. Google cannot actually understand. It's a computer program. It cannot understand the world. It can just work on math, formulas, algorithms. Okay? So that was that thing. Okay. And now the second big point. The second thing to that. What the Google programmers programmed, in my opinion. And that is if I want to be informative for you, I would use logic. Okay? We use logic to be informative. Our thinking works on logic. Logic is comparing things, deducting things from one point, because that happens, this must happen. Comparing, this is like that, or comparing negative, this is not like that. Or saying that things are, similar, just said that, okay. These are mechanisms of speech point to something being informative. Okay, so I see a lot of of text. I said I analyze specifically SEO expert web pages. And I read the text, and they're like all over the place. They're like going nowhere in terms of the way the information is from that from inside of the system that I'm going to talk to you right now. Okay, they just say our company does this, and like we're proud of that. Whatever they say, they're not dense in terms of being what I'm gonna now describe as logical speaking. Okay. So we create a text that talks about everything in the cluster. Great text, gives a lot of points from Google. And now we start creating a text that uses the logic formulas. We are this and that, our main topic. We do this and that, our main topic. Because this and that. Now you combined two sentences with because. And Google gives you points for that, for the word because. It gives you not basically only for the word because, but Google is clever, but Google is not too clever, but it's clever. It sees there's something deducted here. Something happens, and because that happens, another thing. That is an information. We are a company about this and that is an information, all right, yeah, but we do this and that because it is an information that is not only two information pieces, but together they have a bigger worth. So it starts to be a lot more information, and Google is a system that tries to rate the informativeness of information in a text without understanding the text. So comparing things is a very, very high form of informativeness. And then we do that because this and that. And then, but, next sentence, but this one thing is not the same as another thing. That is also a logic thing. It's another one than the first logic comparison. Do you understand what I'm pointing at? I'm pointing at this. For a computer system that does not actually understand, this makes the text look very, very good. Much better than look at your texts. Like, I know you're experts, but look at your texts. How informative are they in that way? And I looked at pretty much a lot of pages and they are not informative. Okay. Well, what did we have? We do that because, and this is not that, but this is not that. Whereas, like on the other hand, this one thing is like that thing. From that follows that while, like temporal, while one thing is, another thing happens, but not in this way, but in another way, because that thing, like, if you think about that, if you get into the system of thinking about information like that, like constant comparing and putting things together, from that follows that makes that, like this type of thinking, if you put that into words, and usually you don't, if you put that into words, then you fulfill the second big category, which Google uses to rate the informativeness of texts. Okay? Now, think one step further with that. Think one step further with that. Google puts your web page. Google does not just put your web page up, as we know. Google puts your web page up for a certain search, for a search term. Okay, not every web page ranks for the same search term. That's what we do with keywords. You know, keywords. You do your keyword research, and now we will think about what I just said. The logical words that I think get very, very much points from Google. The logical words, we use that now for ranking for our search term. So let's say we want to rank, because of the video, it's about search engine optimization. We want to rank for SEO. Our main keyword is SEO, okay? We want to rank for that. And I jump back to the start, to the first thing that I said, because now it's the right time for you to understand it. I want to rank for SEO. First heading, H1 heading, says something with SEO. Okay? SEO in the heading. That was the message. That it's a Star Trek communicator that I have as the message sound on my smartphone. Okay. So, search engine optimization goes in it. You're experts. I don't need to explain to you. Your web page title use as your main keyword in it. Your web page address has your main keyword in it. Your sub-page title has your main keyword in it. I don't have to explain to you that. I come to that like in a few minutes, how much I wonder that people don't do it. How much I wonder that experts actually don't understand how important that is. But that's like the knowledge that you can get everywhere. Everybody will give you that. We're here for the knowledge that goes beyond that, like an expert's video. Okay. SEO in the title, in the heading 1. And then first sentence, SEO again. But this time we combine that with our second main keyword. Like, people should find me for SEO company. In this example, I want to be found for SEO company. So I write, we are an SEO company. First sentence. Second sentence, because we create this logical text, because SEO is necessary for web pages. Web pages is from the topical cluster. Topical cluster that the Google computer found is SEO, web pages, search engine, and a lot of other things that have to do with SEO, like Google schema, and ranking, and SERP, search engines result page, and Google just puts these words together. That's basically what it does. It just puts these words together. So we want to make sure that all these words are going to be in our text. So, because a text that contains all these words if you have a text, if you write a book that contains all texts, all words in one topical cluster, this is the standard book. The standard work on that is the book that contains everything, the page that contains everything. That's the basic trick, the basic idea, the system that Google programmed to create a program that can rank information without knowing what's coming. Okay, so we want to use all these words. Okay, so We are an SEO company because SEO is important for web pages, logical speaking. But search engine optimization has to be done by SEO experts. Google will put SEO experts as one word. It's not SEO again. It's SEO expert is for Google is another term. Highly probably, and if not, then in the future, because the computer program is getting better. So what I'm doing here is, the first sentence is we're an SEO company because SEO is important for websites. So I combined SEO with company and made, because I made a logical connection with another sentence, get points for that logical thing. SEO is for website, and then I combined SEO with websites. And then I said, but it's again logical connections, extra points for that. This is really a great text for Google. It's so informative because it compares so many things and it deducts from that, and that's like, it must be good, even though the computer doesn't understand one word of what is said. So, but, and then search engine optimization has to be done by experts. Then it compares search engine, then it puts search engine optimization in a relation to experts. Okay, we're back for part 2 of this 2-part video. So the text we were working on for the search engine optimization was for a search engine optimization company, as an example, saying we are an SEO company because SEO is for experts. It's because SEO is for websites. So we combined SEO with company, and then with websites, and that together with because. So that's logical, that gives extra points. Next sentence, but again logical combination to the 2 sentences before. But SEO should be done by SEO experts. So we combine SEO with SEO experts, and we're touching on every point of that topical cluster. And then the next sentence is, while all that, given all that we had, while, and putting it aside, deducting something else that has to match all the criteria, like in a sentence, in the second sentence. So while search engine optimization could not be worked on by cows like the animal. Why? Because we bring something new to the table. As I said, as very much earlier I said, this is something that nobody has. Not necessarily, but what I wanted to say with that is, get the point. Get that point, and now we wrap that up. Like, when you are creating a text and you want the computer system to think that this is the informative text for the topic, for the search query, for what somebody searches, then keep it overall logical, in the sense of deducting, comparing, and keep it logical in a way that your focus keyword stays on top of the logic. If you think about that, you might easily create a text that sounds very informative for the computer, that is informative about a completely different thing than what you want to rank for. So keep by keeping your main keywords as the part that you're comparing with, that is the main part of the different aspects of your text. That's the main aspect that is pushed around logically here, what it is, what it is not, what it could be, what it was, what it will be, what it compares to, what it does not compare to. If you keep your main aspect, if you think about the text like that, you will be able to keep your main topic that you want to rank for as the main point of the text. That pretty much concludes the major aspects that experts do wrong and why their web pages don't actually rank. Because their texts are, if you look at your texts now, you might see that they're all over the place, that they're not giving the computer system what it is looking for. They're not giving Google what it is looking for, in terms of they're not touching on all the things in the topical cluster, and they're not logically, scientifically, so to say, putting the topics in different perspectives and aspects with words like because, while, on the other hand, but, does not compare, is not the same, will serve that, all these logical connections. So if you create a text, create it like that. I don't create texts for the viewer too much, given the website I'm working on. I'm an SEO expert. My job is to get the web page to rank in SEO. I also do the web design, okay, but my job is to get the web page to rank. That's important for the company. If the web page doesn't rank, nobody can buy the products. So I like writing my personal blog articles about things that are fun, that people like to read, that really give information. But for a company, you need to rank at some point. So, and that's the point. And I say it once more: touch on the things in the topical cluster, and create logically seeming texts. And I say seeming because actually these texts are not at all logical. They're not logical, and they are not informative. You'll find that they're not informative because if you tell a person coming to your web page that every web page needs SEO and that SEO should be done by experts, then forget the cows, whatever. But that's just I just wanted to say, bring in new stuff from time to time. Go from time to time, compare with something outside of the clusters to create that, to even get these extra points also. But in general, stay topical because you want to rank for a specific thing. So if you speak like that SEO is necessary for web pages, that is not an information for the viewer, because everybody knows that. Everybody knows that web pages need SEO. That's what people come. That's what gets them to rank. What gets them to rank. This is information for the computer, and the computer Google system might get better at some point to even understand better what is good information. But at this point, and I do believe that it is not better. So you will write a text with that will look very good for Google. And that's your traction. That's where you put the work in for your articles and actually get the reward for these articles actually ranking. I believe, and that's the next topic already, I believe that a link from a subpage gives you is a backlink. I believe inside of the Google system, if you know backlinks, okay, you are all searching for backlinks, and I know you know what I talk about because you're like basically experts. We're looking for backlinks and we're asking if they do follow backlinks, and we know where on the web we get some do follow backlinks, and we know all this stuff about every backlink is a good backlink and it does not have to be do follow and stuff. We know all that. But I believe that that your subpage linking back to your main page counts as a backlink from the web. That's what I believe. So that's why I believe that a lot of sub pages, a lot of highly sub pages that get a lot of points are very well if they rank to your main page, because that's like a backlink. And if you think about it like that, Google talks a lot about backlinks from topically relevant pages. And if you create top pages from the same cluster that are not the same, talking about the same, but are relevant, stay relevant to the topic in general, you will have backlinks from topically relevant pages. So that's another basic idea of creating that seeming information on the larger scale, not only on the page or sub-page level scale, but on the whole website, in the different sub-pages, creating that cluster, that collective meaning, like area of meaning on the web page, giving you even more points for the website. So that was another thing for that, like how to create the system of sub-pages. Okay, guys, write long texts. Write long text. People say 2000 is the perfect word count. I don't say that. More information is more information. Okay, write like long text, touch on the things, and talk stupid stuff. You explain what everybody knew. You explain what everybody knew in order to create that web page that really talks completely about the topic. Google likes to rank to web pages that really talk of every aspect of that topic, even though it's stupid for the reader. So get your main information to the top, and then use the rest of the page for talking stupid stuff that's just for the computer. There's a rule in Google, and a guy from Google specifically talked about that. It's called the above the fold rule, because Google lately talks a lot about, will the information be accessible in an easy way? So above the fold rule is when newspapers were sold, they were folded, like the newspapers folded, and you can see only the top half of the page before you buy it. And so in newspaper terms, people call that what is on top of the page is above that folding of the paper. So Google talks a lot about making the main information accessible on top. So if you work with whatever a menu structure is usually on top, but that it is the menu structure comes before your content. Google will get along with that, but it's just a theoretical thought. Menu structure, then you put some images up, maybe you put some advertising up, then maybe you talk about your latest project, to have your latest project on top, and then after all this information, then comes the topic you want to rank for. Then that is not above the fold anymore. It's not on top. So keep that in mind. The above the fold rule, that your main topic you want to rank for, that your webpage starts with that. That's what I said earlier also. That also matched what I said earlier with the first 100 words of your webpage. That's where you write. And earlier I said, write technically about what you do. That's what I meant with all this logical word thing. It's a technical writing about exactly what you do, even though you're explaining things that everybody already knew, because you want to rank for that. Okay? That also above the fold. Okay? And technical and first 100 words. Okay. Now, let's talk about images and videos for your content, because I see that so much, like on expert pages of SEO experts. The word count is too low. Like they offer you a web page with a word count of 1,000 words, or maybe a bit more, maybe up to 2,000. But that is like it is search engine optimization. The field is changing. It might be good for the future. It might work in some cases or so, but and it might work if you have 1 million backlinks. But we're talking about the situation that we are not a big company. We don't have a lot of backlinks. We're not ranking by itself. So we want to rank. We want to rank with the feeding the Google system, giving the Google system what it likes. So I see web pages of experts that have a low word count, and low word count means basically low information. If there's not many words, it's not many information. Google ranks how much information is there. How good is the information? We talked about that. But it also ranks how much information is there. So many words combined with the good writing style, combined with the topical preciseness and topical range, that together is what creates the good content. Now, images. I usually say, there's 4 pillars of information that can be on a web page. And that's text. We talked about that. There's images. There's videos. And then every expert, like so many experts, web pages don't have videos. How can you do that? Okay, and so many web expert pages don't have a lot of images. How can you do that? And then there comes the pillar of information that nearly no expert seems to see, and that is scripts. So text, image, video, and script. What is a script? Just short. A script is a computer program that runs on your web page. And Google must have difficulties of understanding what a script does. If you look at the scripts are basically program code written in your HTML text of the web page that do things. So the basic example that I always go for is, you have a price calculator. You have a little field where you say how much you want to buy of a product, or how big of a product you want, and it calculates how much you have to pay. It's a price calculator program. So Google gives extra points to price calculator programs. But I am convinced that the computer program, Google itself, has problems of really understanding what a program does. Because it will be really difficult to understand what actually a program does. So it just gives points for programming. That's a system that will work for Google. It just gives extra points for programming. So what I do on my web pages, I work with WordPress and Elementor. So whatever you use, there's always these possibilities to make the text that you write fly in from the site. There's always the possibility to make the images appear. There's always the possibility of having like carousels where images slide in from the sides. You always have the possibility for clicking buttons that the images go to left and right. All these things. Modern HTML programming provides us with these possibilities, and they are all programming. So I put them on the website. You will find my websites, all the text flying in from the site. It looks fancy and I like it, but that's not the main reason why I do it. The main reason why I do it is programming that is difficult for Google to understand what it actually does. And so it just gives me extra points. And I believe that all these pillars, text, video, text, image, video, and scripts, kind of, so to say, multiply. Text is good, images is good, text and images is super, text and images and, so to say, even videos is better, and then on top of that, even scripts. that all multiplies and it gives a good, like in my opinion, a good boost to your website. So use these fancy programming things on your web pages for your ranking actually. So videos. Put videos on your page. If you don't, big videos on your page, like YouTube videos that you put in your page, YouTube videos that come from YouTube to your page, will make your page slow. Maybe not too much, but in my experience, they make the page slow. That's a problem, because site speed is a high ranking factor. Get your images small, like calculate, work with, you're expert, work with JPEG. Get your images like very small. Don't put too many videos on one page, because if the page takes a few seconds to load, Google will massively give it minus points. So if you don't know what videos to put on a page, what I did is I created videos, like background videos. I just did that for a website project, and put them behind the titles, like the H1 titles. In the background, it's just running a fancy background video. It's just it just makes the page look better. But I put it there because it's an MP4 video that runs on the page. And that's it gives extra point from Google. Or I created images that are actually videos that play and then stop, and then you see only the image, and it might play before the viewer even scrolls there, but it's a video. And on one page I create a lot of very small images that just look good, like just for looking fancy. I create these small image stripes and let them play in an image stripe box. Just the viewer thinks, oh, that's just something to make the web page look cool, but Google sees it's 25 extra images on the page. Okay, get creative with putting images and videos on your page. Okay, you want to rank, and even if you put the videos so that nobody actually sees their videos, or if you put the images so that nobody understands that they're informative images, just with stripes and stuff, get these images going. So you create text and you put a lot of images in creative ways, and you put a lot of videos, but not so many videos that the page is loading slowly. You all know these page testing tools that you have to see if your page is actually running smoothly, and it should, because that's really a big thing. You open your page and poof, it's there. Then it's good for Google. Everything else is still good. Think about it like that. A lot of pages don't run smoothly. If Google wants to put them all out of the ranking, the internet wouldn't work anymore. So Google has to give credit and has to still show pages even if they take some seconds to load. Google has to even rank those pages. So it's not, as everybody says, just with the ranking, just with the super quick website you will rank. That's not the point. But we're talking about getting the maximum, and the maximum would be the page is just there. So keep that in mind. You have some credit even with a slower page. Highly probably, I don't even know, because nobody knows the programming of Google. But what I know is that Google cannot just put the whole actual internet away because a lot of pages are slow. So slow pages have to be shown in Google. But the question is also how high. And like you want to have the best, so think about site speed. Okay, what I know every expert does. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the images once more. I talked about creating the text that is informative, that looks informative. Now the images have subtitles. The images have subtitles, and they have alternative texts. And oh my, how much do I see expert web pages of expert SEO people, like SEO experts. that have just 5 images on them. And those images don't have subtitles. Like that is not working. Okay? Get more images on your page. And get those subtitles with your keywords. And then comes the point. Think about it. Here comes a point. Going back to that whole being informative, seeming informative thing. Imagine a book that has an image. A book explaining something, there's an image showing the thing. With a subtitle, under the image, what it talks about. Like what is on the image, what the book talks about, what is seen on the image, and that has to do with each other. The image explaining the text. Think about that. And now put images in that work together with the text. If you talk about your company and then you put an image up of the team, then you put that image close to the part of the text where you talk about the team. We are a team of SEO experts because working in a team on web pages is very great, while other companies don't manage to do it right. And close to that part of the logical text, I just repeated it once more for you so that you get that right. And close to that informative text, you put the image saying, "This is our SEO team." Then Google sees that the image obviously matches the text, and that is like a multiplication in being informative. So, and if you have alternative text and you don't want to make them all like black hats, like make them all deceptive, because Google is getting better. It's in the future, Google will understand it might already do it already. It will understand what is actually seen on the image and what you write as an alternative text and give you and don't give you points if that's not matching. Okay, so create images that actually match what you're talking about in the text. But you'll find ways to do that. Like, if you write SEO is good for web pages, create an image. This is one of the web pages that we made SEO for, like as a screenshot. That is giving actual information that matches the text, that makes the information look better. And that's why the images are always put close to the parts of the text that actually talks about the image. And somebody from Google already one time actually mentioned that Google is looking for that. And that all matches up with the general idea that Google is trying to rate information without actually knowing what information is coming from the web and without actually being able to understand the information that is coming, because it's just a computer, it cannot really understand. So that concludes this video. That's the end of this video. We reached the end of this video. Be seemingly informative, and then when you do all that, you still have to write a lot of content. You still have to work on a lot of content, but the content that you produce will work, which otherwise it will not. With that system, the content that you produce will work with Google giving it a lot of points and ranking you and giving your website all over more points with all the good articles and putting your website in general higher. That's going to work. Okay, that's it for this video. Enjoy your day.